Welcome back, everyone. Today we're going to be shedding light on how to broadcast a 24/7 automated live stream on multiple live streaming platforms simultaneously. So, how do you broadcast a 24/7 automated live stream on multiple live streaming platforms simultaneously? Without further ado, without further delay, allow me to demystify that answer to that inquiry right here, right now. You will need to procure a myriad of items in order to be able to broadcast a 24/7 automated live stream on multiple live stream platforms simultaneously. This undertaking can be expensive and it can be highly time consuming to do. But once you have everything configured and set up, then you're good to go and you can broadcast a 24/7 automated live stream on multiple live stream platforms simultaneously. So, what do you need to buy? What do you need to procure? What do you need to have access to in order to be able to do this? Well, you will need a second computer that is dedicated to broadcasting a 24/7 automated live stream on multiple live stream platforms simultaneously. You should get a stellar computer. You should get a computer that has superior hardware components so that you can seamlessly broadcast a 24/7 automated live stream on multiple live stream platforms simultaneously. In addition, you will need a high-speed broadband internet connection without a data cap. So you will need to procure a high-speed broadband internet subscription service that lacks a data cap so you could broadcast a 24/7 automated live stream on multiple live streaming platforms simultaneously at a high bitrate and buffer size without succumbing to paying exorbitant surcharges for profusely draining data. You want your data cap to be lifted. You want your data cap to be revoked. You want it to be removed if it's not, and if you are broadcasting a 24/7 automated live stream on multiple live stream platforms simultaneously, then you will succumb to paying lofty, hefty, exorbitant, unaffordable surcharges. So, ensure that your broadband internet subscription service does not have a data cap. It is imperative, it is incumbent, and it is of eminent importance. You will also need to procure a video recording and live streaming software program, in addition to a macro recorder software program. You will need the video recording and live streaming software program in order to be able to broadcast a 24/7 automated live stream. You will also need a macro recorder software program in order to produce a macro script so that you can perpetually launch CPU versus CPU matches that you feature as a primary content on your 24/7 automated live stream. Additionally, you will need video games for the PC that have a CPU versus CPU mode embedded in them, which you can feature CPU versus CPU matches of on your 24/7 automated live stream broadcast. And you will need to leverage Restream in order to broadcast a 24/7 automated live stream on multiple live streaming platforms simultaneously. So, real quick, as per your video recording and live streaming software program to utilize, you are at liberty to utilize the Open Broadcaster software program on the PC, which can allow you to broadcast a 24/7 automated live stream if you so choose to do so, as per your macro recorder software program that you can utilize for producing your own macro script. You can install macro recorder software programs on the PC to be able to produce your own macros. Some macro recorder software programs that you can utilize encompass AutoIt, EasyClicks macros, AutoHotkey, Mini Mouse macro, Perfect Automation macro maker, TinyTask, and of course, Mouse Recorder Pro. As per video games for the PC that have a CPU versus CPU mode embedded in them that you could feature on your 24/7 automated live stream broadcasts, you are at liberty to feature sports genre video games as well as fighting genre video games. As the video games that are featured on your 24/7 automated live stream broadcast. Some video games for the PC that have a CPU mode versus CPU mode integrated in them that are fighting genre video games encompass Street Fighter 4, Injustice 2, Jump Force, Naruto Shippuden, Ultimate Ninja Storm 4, Tekken 7, Soul Calibur 6, Killer Instinct, Mugen, Dead or Alive 6, and of course Samurai Showdown. Some sports genre video games that have a CPU mode versus CPU mode embedded in them that are available on the PC encompass Fire Pro Wrestling World, NBA 2K22, Madden NFL 22, and NHL 21. So, succinctly stated, in sum, the abridged version of broadcasting a 24/7 automated live stream on multiple live stream platforms simultaneously entails procuring a second computer, procuring a high-speed broadband internet subscription service without a data cap, procuring a video recording and live streaming software program, procuring a macro recorder software program, and procuring fighting genre and /or sports genre video games for the PC that have a CPU mode versus CPU mode embedded in them. You also need to utilize Restream to be able to broadcast a 24/7 automated live stream on multiple live stream platforms simultaneously. When you are producing your own macro script, you will need to produce a macro script that allows you to perpetually launch CPU versus CPU matches in the video game that is being featured on your 24/7 automated live stream broadcast on multiple live stream platforms simultaneously. A macro can be leveraged to incessantly repeat the task of launching random CPU versus CPU mode. Let me reread that. A macro that you record can be leveraged to incessantly repeat the task of launching random CPU versus CPU matches without you needing to be present at your second computer to launch additional random CPU versus CPU matches. A macro can allow you to be able to automatically incessantly repeat the task of launching random CPU versus CPU matches without the need to be manually present at your second computer to launch additional random CPU versus CPU matches. So make sure that you produce macros that allow you to incessantly, perpetually, ceaselessly, unremittingly, constantly launch random CPU versus CPU matches. In video games featured on your automated live stream broadcasts that have a CPU versus CPU mode embedded in them. Just be wary that broadcasting a 24/7 automated live stream on multiple platforms simultaneously will not only be an expensive undertaking, but also amplify your wattage costs and will profusely drain your data, in addition to causing your second computer to rapidly depreciate. So just understand that it's not only an expensive undertaking, but does not guarantee that you will reap a positive return on investment. Even if you're broadcasting a 24/7 automated live stream on multiple live stream platforms simultaneously with restream for years on end. If your live streaming channels do not build traction, if your followers do not become patrons, donors, nor paid subscribers, nor brand advocates, then you can potentially succumb to an egregious net loss. Even if you're broadcasting a 24/7 automated live stream on multiple live stream platforms simultaneously by leveraging Restream to do so. The utmost popular video games are devoid of CPU versus CPU modes. And most viewers would prefer to interface. They prefer to confabulate with the live streamer rather than just watch enthralling CPU versus CPU matches in antiquated, outdated, nostalgic, retro video games. Lamentably, much of my dismay, much of my consternation, much of my distress, much of my grief, much of my chagrin, and much of my agony, most modern day video games have omitted to include CPU versus CPU modes in them, in spite of the fact that it is highly desirable for video games to feature a CPU versus CPU mode in them. Developers have shirked on doing so for most video games for some peculiar reason. Even though it undermines the overall value of the game. Having a CPU versus CPU mode embedded in a video game augments it, especially if it has a prodigious, sizable, extensive character roster. People love to revel in watching CPU versus CPU matches in video games. And developers, for some peculiar, enigmatic, unknown reason, have neglected to include a CPU versus CPU mode in most video games. So, once again, I hope that you found this video to be insightful and enthralling. Fortunately, you are at liberty to leverage Restream, as well as a video recording and live streaming software program, such as Open Broadcaster software. And you are at liberty to utilize a macro recorder software program, such as Perfection Automation, Macro Maker, and Mouse Recorder Pro. You're also at liberty to procure a second computer, procure a high-speed broadband internet connection without a data cap, as well as procure video games that have a CPU mode versus CPU mode embedded in them. It is within the parameters of your jurisdiction to be able to broadcast a 24/7 automated live stream on multiple live streaming platforms simultaneously, if you so choose to do so, as long as it is rendered permissible by the live streaming platforms that feature your 24/7 automated live stream broadcasts on. I hope that you found this video to be insightful and enthralling. Have a blissful day. Goodbye.